What is up, Ludy Bros Army? It's your boy, Big Bro Lamar Ludy, and I'm sitting down today to go over a game that I was able to play for Rising Phoenix Odyssey's YouTube Creator Tournament. I got to sit down and play with Ryan K from the UK. He was a great guy. We got to sit down and we got to play a couple of games. We were seeing Captain Ginyu going up against Android 21. Ryan went first. He went ahead and he charged a multicolor and then passed turn over to me. It was a pretty standard first turn play for Android 21. I went ahead and I charged the Sun Gohan. We were playing on untap, which I'm not big. I'm not a big untap player. I usually like to play live. So there's going to be a couple of times where you can see that I was trying to figure things out. My opponent was nice enough. He kind of just chuckled a little bit and said that was okay. I put my leader in upside down. Now I went ahead and swung with my leader's effect, which is going to let me check the top card of my deck. And then if it was a Ginyu force card, I'd be able to play it out. It wasn't, so I went ahead and I had to draw one card, swinging with just 10k over at Android 21. Android 21 went ahead and took the damage. And then we were going to go ahead and tapping the one energy, playing out the Demigra, which is going to put my Unison on board and then set up for that Frieza charismatic villain in my hand to go on ahead and be live. So I went ahead, played that out. Now, something that I do like with the Ginyu deck is getting that Demigra out on field is going to make my Unison live from the very opening part of the game. So that's one of the turn one plays that I like to look for with this Ginyu deck. So I went ahead, I plussed up the markers on my Unison, swung into the leader, and he's going to go ahead and take that damage, dropping himself down to 6 lives. So 2 quick attacks for me running Ginyu, and then turn being passed over to Android 21. So this was a really fun matchup. I showcased this Ginyu deck profile on the channel here actually back in December. If you want to go check that out, please feel free to go ahead and get my thought process on this deck. I think that Ginyu is somewhat of an underrated leader just because he's got a lot of consistency. So we're seeing the opponent. He's going to go ahead and he's going to charge another multicolored into his energy, and he's going to swing into my Unison. I'm going to go ahead and use the Unison's effect to take damage instead of removing the markers. Ginyu has an ability where he's able to awaken if you have 4 Ginyu Force cards in play. So he doesn't have to wait till he gets down to 2. So you don't mind taking some damage, a little bit of damage early on, especially if it's going to protect that Demigra Unison, then that's a good idea because I want to keep those markers on the Unison so I can go ahead and have my Frieza counterplay be live for whatever he's going to go ahead and bring from the deck. So I went ahead and, like I said, I went ahead and took the hit from the instead of taking any markers off my Unison, I took that damage from the leader swing. He awakened. This leader can awaken at 6 life or less. 6 life if you have multicolored in your energy, which he did. So he went ahead and he awakened. He swung at me with a 15k damage, and that's where I went ahead and took that hit. So now I drew for turn, trying to get a little bit better with my command of untap. This is my second time playing untap here in this tournament. So it's a little bit sketchy for me, but I'm trying to get better at it. I've noticed that a lot of players do play on untap a lot, so I want to go ahead and make sure I can step up my game so that way I can, take part and continue taking part in this tournament, which has been great, by the way. Shout out to Rising Phoenix Odyssey for putting this on and inviting a bunch of smaller YouTube channels, which are maybe smaller but are still just as competitive as those bigger channels, giving us an opportunity to get on here and showcase, what we can do. So you can see here that I went ahead, I charged the Raccoon. I'm going to go ahead and play out the Ginyu Force, the Showstoppers. Now this is, really an MVP of the deck. It just brings so much more consistency. I want to talk about a couple of things with the Ginyu deck. And this is one of them. This card coming from the expansion set, I mentioned it in my deck profile video, and I'm going to mention it again here if you haven't had a chance to check that out yet. That this card comes out, and he's a 15k beater, so he's going to be able to threaten your leader on the awakened side, and if he does damage, you're able to play out another Ginyu Force card from your deck that's not the same copy of that card. So I swung with the leader. Now he went ahead and super comboed with the Android 18 Bionic Blitz, and she's going to take a card from my hand and put it back to the bottom of the deck. which can be problematic. So he's got some nice hand control going on here with his version of the Android 21. So he snatched a card out of my hand and he fought off my attack, which means I'm not bringing out any cards this time around off of that Showstopper's attack. You can see that I plussed up my Unison, like I said, working on some untaps, so you're just going to have to bear with me on that. Ryan was a cool guy. I really enjoyed playing against him, and, it was just a lot of fun. Normally for these battles, I like to leave our dialogue from the game, but I was having some audio issues, so I had to sit down and record the voiceover. But, he was just a really great guy, and if he watches this battle, I really look forward. We're going to try and do some collaborations between his channel and Ludy Bros Entertainment, so be on the lookout for that. So you can see I got a couple hits in, swung with the leader, and then here comes another Ginyu Force, the Showstopper. So I'm still trying to put pressure. I'm looking for some opportunities to play some cards from my deck to really get this deck going. I'm now comboing up to 20 because I want to make sure he takes this hit without committing too many resources from out of my hand. He's going to go ahead and tap 1 energy to once again combo out. This is a multicolored card with 10k combo power, so he's able to fight me off. We're not going to see any of the cards coming out from the deck off of the Ginyu Force, the Showstoppers. So after that, I pass turn over to Android 21. I was able to sneak in a little bit of damage. We see that the life is 7 to 5. And he's going to go ahead, restand his energy, and he's looking for another card to go ahead and charge. And here comes another multicolored card. Now, up until this point, we haven't seen any of the blue-green Android 17s that he's able to put into his energy in active mode. So that might be hurting him. He swings with his leader at one of my Ginyu Force, the Showstoppers, knowing that that's kind of an engine for the deck. So smart move on his part, not wanting to give me resources. If he swings at my Unison, I'm more than likely going to just take the life instead of dropping the markers. He's going to go ahead, swing at my Ginyu Force. Now, I want him to have to eat up a couple of attacks, so I go ahead and I combo out of that. He doesn't play anything else. He just goes ahead and passes turn over to me. So I feel like that was a pretty smart, pretty good move on my part to keep that on board. I don't know. He has 2 active energy. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to see from his deck. So now I draw another Showstoppers. I've got 2 energy, and right now I remember I was debating on if I wanted to tap the 2 or if I was going to charge the card. I've got a couple super combos, but he's not focused on my leader just yet. So those aren't going to be live until we get down to 4 life. So I go ahead and just charge the Showstoppers, feeling that at 2 is enough on board. I'm going to go ahead and plus up the markers on my Demigra, giving him 15k. And now it's time to get to work. We're going to see the Ginyu Force, the Showstopper, swinging, just bringing that pressure. And that's one of the good things for the Ginyu deck. These guys are all 15k bodies, so they're going to be able to threaten the leader, even on their awakened side, and you can just really keep bringing that pressure. Now here's a counter, Restoration. He's going to negate my attack, and it's going to let him play out an Android 16 from his hand for free, basically, off of that Restoration. So we're going to see the Android 16 energy amplification come out. I'm going to respond with the Frieza Charismatic. I don't want him to really have any cards on board if I can avoid it. So his card is still going to give him an opportunity to ramp up some energy. What that card does is when it's played, you're going to get the top card off of your deck, and you're going to go ahead and place it into your energy in rest mode. So here it comes. He's charging himself up, giving himself a little bit of power, potentially for the next turn. Or even in this turn, we'll see, what he's got going on. But the Frieza's effect is going to activate to KO that card. So now we're going to see the Showstoppers still swinging away. They're going to get in their attack, and I'm going to combo up to 20. I'm really looking to get that pressure and get another card on board. He's down to 5 lives. I'm at 7, so I'm looking to try and do some damage. We're going to see a Sensu Bean, restanding the energy. He's just going to need one more card to combo to get out of this attack from the Showstoppers. So we haven't seen them able to put in that work just yet. And there's another card fighting me off. We haven't seen the Showstoppers really be able to play out anything, which would give me a nice advantage. But he's doing a great job of defending that leader and defending those attacks. So now Ginyu's going to swing. I'm going to take a look at the top card of the deck. If it's a Ginyu Force, I'm able to play it. It's not. It's a Zamasu. So I've got to go ahead, put it back. I've got to shuffle my deck and then draw a card. I still have the swing from the Demigra, and at least with these 15k bodies that I'm swinging with, it's putting pressure and having to get cards out of his hand. So we need to. With that swing, my leader was only 10k. He's already awakened, so that's one of the good things for the Android 21 is that she can awaken, pretty early. So now we're gonna see. I play out Birder, giving myself another body. I'm gonna swing with 15, but his leader is up to 20. So I'm just doing that swing, and then my auto is gonna activate for Birder, which is going to allow him to restand, and then I'll check the top 3 cards of the deck and I'll arrange them in the order that I see fit. And that's the big thing for Ginyu is that he's going to have knowledge of the cards that are coming. He's going to be able to determine how they're going to be played out. And that is really what makes this deck so consistent is the fact that you know what's coming, you know the order that it's going to be played. If your opponent's not messing with the top cards of your deck, you're able to basically play one turn ahead, somewhat seeing into the future. Just like Goldo did in Dragon Ball Z, you can kind of see into the future a little bit and kind of stack things so then that way, it could potentially come out in your favor. And we'll see, just how things play out for Ginyu here in this battle. So I've arranged the cards. Birder is now standing. I'm not going to swing with my Unison because he's boosted with that Sensu Bean, so he's up to 20k for the turn. He charged himself with that Android 16 energy amplification. So now he's got an extra energy to play with. Putting another multicolored into his energy. It's got to go in and rest. And now we're seeing the leader swinging at Ginyu Force, the showstoppers once again. He's wanting those guys off the board. I believe my opponent knows full well what they can do. And this time I don't have any way to fight him off. I'm not going to use my blocker on that attack just yet. I'm going to go ahead and let him die. I still have another showstoppers out there. I feel like I'm okay. He plays out Son Gohan and Piccolo, Pupil, and Master, which has Barrier. So I'm unable to use my Frieza Charismatic Villain to KO it. So he's getting around my Frieza. Now this Piccolo has a nice effect where he's able, when he swings, I've got to take a card from my hand and put it to the bottom of the deck. So he's swinging at my showstoppers. I don't want showstoppers off the board. I need it on board to get my engine going. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to block his attack. Now I've got to put a card to the drop area. I said to the bottom of the deck, excuse me. It's got to go to the drop area. So I ditch a super combo because he hasn't been going after my life or my Unison. And I figure I want to hold on to that Frieza just in case if something problematic comes out that doesn't have barrier. So that way I can go ahead and KO that card using the free counterplay with my Unison on board. So I had to ditch a super combo. My blocker died, but my showstoppers are still on the field. And now it's time for me to go ahead. I'm going to draw a card for turn, which is that Demigra Unison, which I had set there at the previous turn. We're going to untap everything, and let's see what happens here. So I still haven't awakened yet, so it's just 10k that I'm going to be swinging with from my leader. I'm debating on what I want to do here. If I'm going to go ahead and charge, and I decide to charge this extra Unison, there's no need to plus up markers. My Unison's doing a fine job of plussing himself up. And then if he does, swing at the Unison, then I'm in a good position to take those cards from my life. Now, I know the cards and how they're set up because of Birder from the last turn, so I'm going to swing with my leader knowing full well that I'm going to be able to free play out this card from off the top of my deck, and it's Jace. So I didn't spend any energy. I'm still able to play this Jace out, and then I get to draw one with my leader's effect. So even though I'm swinging with just 10k and I know that I'm not going to do any damage, I'm still able to get resources back into my hand and free play out a battle card. I went ahead and I'm going to minus 3, activating main for Demigra, to go ahead and KO that Son Gohan and Piccolo, Pupil, and Master. What Demigra can do, it's like a mini board wipe. He's able to KO a card and then KO another card with energy cost of 3 or less, ignoring barrier. And that was the big thing for the Son Gohan and Piccolo, is that that card had barrier. Now, it also has a revive skill, so he ditched a blue-green card to bring that card right back. Now, that wasn't something that I was expecting, and it was a good, solid move to put that card back on the field, this time in active mode. So now it couldn't be, won't be targeted for even for an attack. And once again, my Frieza Charismatic Villain, he's not going to be able to do anything. So normally the play with this Ginyu, the Body Snatcher, is you want to play him out off of the effect of the Ginyu Backbone of the Force. But this time I went ahead and I hard casted Ginyu the Body Snatcher because I wanted to get the 10k boost that he gives when he's played out to my Ginyu Force that were in the battle area. My opponent is down to 2 cards in hand, and I feel that with the way that Android 21 has been running, her being at 2 versus Ginyu being at 2 is not going to be equal. So we're going to see Jace go ahead and swing. And what Jace is going to do is he's going to search the top 3 cards of the deck, and he's going to add a Ginyu Force into your hand. So this is plussing more resources. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to grab the Raccoon because Jace is on board and he has unique. So that other Jace isn't going to be able to help me out. So I'm grabbing the Raccoon, showing it to my opponent. I'm not sure if Untap shows what you grab or anything like that. So I just go ahead and shuffle those cards back into my deck. I'm swinging with 25k at his leader with Jace. And he has 2 cards in hand plus an active Piccolo, and so he goes ahead and he takes the hit. Here comes Ginyu Force, the Body Snatchers. They're up to 25k now. I'm looking for them to finally do some damage. I've swung and swung with them, and they haven't been able to connect. And he takes the hit, which means I can finally activate my effect to get into the deck and start bringing that pressure. So I'm going to be looking for a Ginyu Force card with an energy cost of 2 or less, and I'm going to be playing that out for free. Let me grab a sip of water here. Excuse me. Keeping the throat hydrated as we're playing through this game. And I decide to go with Ginyu, the leader of the Force. I believe that's the name of that card. Ginyu, Frieza's greatest soldier is what I'm going with. And when he's played, he's going to boost up your leader or your unison by 10k. So I'm going to give that boost to Demigra. I used Demigra's minus effect, so I wasn't able to plus him up. But now he's got another 10k, so I'm going to be able to pressure the leader with my unison, even though I didn't use his +1 activate main. So Ginyu, Frieza's greatest soldier, is going to get in on the fight. He's going to swing for 15k at the leader. Looking to continue the pressure. I tapped myself out, but I'm feeling okay because I have the Frieza counterplay in hand. I have 4 Ginyu Force cards in hand, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to awaken, and that's going to draw 2. So you don't untap any energy with Ginyu, you just draw 2 cards. So I've plussed up some more resources into my hand, and now I'm going to go ahead and swing with the Body Snatcher, who has double strike. I've been able to get my opponent down to 2 lives. He doesn't have any counters here, so I'm going to try and combo up a little. Or I thought about comboing up, even though my card is at 30k. When this card is played, you're going to give an additional 10k boost to the green cards in the battle area. So I want to put pressure to get those cards out of his hand, as many as possible. So I go ahead and I even combo away the Frieza here with the mindset that I'm at 7 lives, and I don't think there's going to be much he can do, and there wasn't. I comboed up with that double strike, and he's going to go ahead and take the damage with the first set of the match going to me. Now here we are in the second half of our best of 3 with Android 21 once again going first. So we're seeing that same play where he's going to charge the multicolor. This time I didn't have the Demigra turn 1, so it looks like I'm going to have to be looking for a turn 2 play. Now, I swing with my leader, and lo and behold, there on the top of my deck is the Showstoppers. Now, the way that I built my deck, I'm trying to, even if I have to blind swing with my leader, odds are I'm going to be playing out one of these Ginyu cards. So go check out that deck profile, and you can see all the reasoning behind it. So now we're seeing the leader swinging with 10. He's going to go ahead and take the hit. The Showstoppers are swinging with 15. And I want him to take this hit so I can get another of my Ginyu Force members out onto the board. He takes that hit, comboed up to 20 with a Goldo. Now I can play Ginyu Force from my deck. So I'm going to look for a Raccoon, because when Raccoon is played, he's going to search through, or he's going to be able to play another Ginyu Force member from your hand. So here I am. I'm having some issues scrolling over. There, I finally figured it out. It's down at the bottom. Here comes a Raccoon. So I charged 1 Raccoon. I had 1 Raccoon in my hand, but I was still able to have 2 in the deck to make sure that this, is live. So Raccoon comes out, and then Raccoon's effect is going to go off, which is going to allow me to play out Goldo. Now, this is my turn 1 turn. You can see I swung with my leader, the Showstoppers, and now I've got Raccoon and Goldo coming out. Goldo is going to activate his main to arrange the top 5 cards in the order that I see fit, and then you're going to place them on the top or the bottom of the deck. So I'm peeping the top 5 to see what's going to be coming. There's another Raccoon. I've got a couple of Jaces to look at, and then that Helix Strike, which is great turn 1. But we didn't happen to need it this time. But I do want to get that Helix Strike to hand because he can let me play out some cards later on. I don't need any more Raccoons at this time. Plus, these Ginyu Force cards have unique. But I do want that Jace to come out so you can see as I'm arranging the cards there. And then I decide, well, you know what? I'm actually going to send this Raccoon and extra Jace to the bottom of the deck so I can try and get to some other cards. See some other cards from out of my deck instead of seeing those same cards, which I already have copies of. And then now that I've got the cards arranged how I see them, sorry, once again, I apologize. I'm so slow on untap, but you know what? It's a learning process. I do feel that I've learned a little bit while I'm playing how untap works. I still prefer webcam, not going to lie, still prefer webcam. But hey, to make this thing happen, thanks to Rising Phoenix Odyssey, shout outs to him and his channel to make this happen, is just awesome. To have this way that we can sit down and play. I mean, I've played with someone from Chile. I've played with 2 people from the UK. I mean, this is a Dragon Ball Super card game is around the world. Shout outs to Bandai for, making this possible. This game that's kind of, introducing people from around the world, different walks of life to sit down and have a really good time. My opponents have just been great guys. I feel like I've made Dragon Ball friends with them and, potentially, in the future, sit down, even just for friendly games. We might get those. Well, yeah, we'll get some of those battles on YouTube, but also just to sit down and play with them is great, So you can see that I went ahead and I swung with everything, basically. I put him down to 4 lives. Now, I boosted up his hand pretty good. He's got plenty of hand size there. But a small secret from my end is that I knew the Android 21 deck. I was actually piloting it as recent as 2 days ago. It was one of my fun decks that I like to play with my little bro and with Titus. So I kind of knew the ins and outs of the deck. He didn't have many surprises for me aside from a couple of extra blocker cards that he was running in his deck. But as far as, the majority of the deck goes, I was very familiar with many of the cards that he was running. So here we see he's swinging at me with the Vegeta. He's tapped himself out for it. I'm going to go ahead and counter with Shocking Death Ball to negate that attack, and then Shocking Death Ball is going to KO a battle card with an energy cost of 2 or less. So he's going to go ahead and restand off of the leader. I believe he awakened there. He's down past 6 lives, plus he's also got the multicolored in his energy, so he's going to go ahead and awaken. That's one of the, like I said earlier, that's one of the strong points for the deck, is that you can awaken very early, and there's so much energy manipulation. So as we can see, he's sending a multicolored card to his drop area to play out this Android 16, a new start. That's his effect. He sends a card from the multicolored energy to the drop, and then that's going to turn on the leader's effect, which when a card is sent from your drop area, you're going to be able to draw a card and restand an energy during your opponent's turn. Also, here comes another Android 16. When a card is sent from your energy area into the drop area, you get to free play him out, and he's a blocker. So these are all standard plays for the Android 21 deck. It's a very fun deck to pilot. I took it apart, and then literally maybe that same, like hours later, I saw that they were coming with an Android 21 leader. So the deck might, and he might even be able to make better use of this deck with, a little bit more of his support. So I might go ahead and have to splash it back together. But it was a lot of fun for me to sit down, and then, my opponent, Ryan, he was doing a great, he's been doing a great thing for this tournament where he's actually spinning a wheel and kind of leaving it up to chance to see what deck he's going to play. And this just happened to be the deck that came out today. So I thought it was kind of cool that he was doing that. And, I just so happened to, in a way, run against one of my own decks, in a funny way. So now he's swinging with his blocker at the showstoppers. He knows that he's got to get that card off the board because otherwise it's going to bring that pressure. And this time he's super comboing with the Android 18 to snatch a card from my hand. Based off my knowledge from the previous battle, I know that he's going to work to kind of clear my board first. So I was thinking on sending the super combo back to the bottom of the deck. But then I decided to go on ahead and get rid of the Jace because I saw in my next turn, I was going to draw that Ginyu Force, and then Jace was going to be coming out. So I went ahead, I let Showstoppers go. I've got a birder in hand, And now, he's really got me down. I've only got 3 cards. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, he's got a hand advantage over me plus 2 active energy. So I go ahead, I charge the birder, holding on to the super combo, and I'm going to keep that Helix Strike in my hand. And here I'm just thinking, okay, so if I go ahead, I'm going to swing with the leader. Jace is going to be played out, and then I'm going to draw into my Frieza Charismatic Villain. Unfortunately for me, there is no Unison on board, but it's nice to have that card in hand. When you've got one piece of the puzzle and you're looking for the other, that always feels a little bit better than having nothing. So Ginyu is going to go ahead. I'm going to swing at his blocker. My Ginyu's not awakened, so I can't hurt his leader at all. I'm going to swing at the blocker, and it's time to peep the top card and play it out. Here comes Jace, and then I'll be drawing the next card into my hand. So Jace comes out for free. I mean, Ginyu is so good at managing resources and just giving information for the top cards that are going to come, from your deck and let you just set things up. So I swung at the blocker. He's not going to waste any resources protecting and defending the blocker. He did his job. As a matter of fact, he was able to snatch a card from my hand and get rid of the showstoppers, so he did more than enough work. Here comes Jace, second in command. He's going to swing at the leader with his 15k, and then he's going to peep the top 3 cards, and I can add a Ginyu Force from among them, and there's the showstoppers again. So I'm able to add that back into my hand, and we're going to, be able to tap 2 energy to play that card out. So we're seeing the showstoppers come out. The cards went back to the top of the deck, I believe. Let's see. Oh no, I'm gonna go ahead and arrange, I'm going to check the top cards and see how I want to go ahead and arrange these things. So then that way I can get the maximum benefit with my just little 2 energy here. I know I have the Helix Strike in hand. So the thing about Helix Strike is for 1 energy, you discard that card, and then you're going to search the top 3 cards of your deck, and you're going to add a Ginyu Force card among them to your hand. Then, if you added a Ginyu Force card, you're able to play out a Ginyu Force card with an energy cost of 2 or less. So that's what I'm debating. I'm like, okay, these cards are stacked the way that I'm comfortable with. Jace is going to go ahead. We're going to finish that swing off with Jace. He's swinging with 15, and he takes that damage, dropping down to, I believe he's at 3 lives here. And then now we're going to tap 1 energy, and I'm going to ditch away the Helix Strike, which is going to let me search through the top 3 to get that Ginyu Force card to my hand. So I really only need 1 card here, and it's going to be that top Ginyu Force card, which is Ginyu, Backbone of the Force. If I remember right, then I'm just going to go ahead. I'm just going to take, oh, wait, I'm looking through them. That's right. I'm looking through them for the Helix Strike to determine if I'm going to take that or the Ginyu, Backbone of the Force. We're going to go ahead and look all the way through, though, because knowledge is power, so we want to see what our options are. So I am going to snag the Ginyu, Backbone of the Force, and the reason why I'm going to take that is because if I have 4 Ginyu Force members, which is Goldo, Jace, Rikum, and Birder, then I'm going to be able to free play him out from my hand, and I'm going to be able to shuffle. I'm going to be able to play that card out from my hand, and I'm going to be able to take my opponent's battle card. So that's what I was thinking here. As a little bit of protection. I don't have any counters in hand except for the Frieza, but he's not live right now because I have no Unison. So I was thinking, okay, that might be one way. If he gets something problematic on board, I can play out that Backbone of the Force, and I can go ahead and snag something from his side of the field. I have 4 Ginyu Force cards in play, so now I'm able to awaken. And that's one of the strengths of the Ginyu leader is you don't have to be down at 4. You draw 2 cards. So I'm able to draw into a Furthering Destruction, and I also bring out another copy of Frieza, which at this point right now, with no Unison and no Zamasu's in hand, it looks like it's going to be just combo power. Swinging away with Rikum, pressuring the leader. I've got him down to 3 lives. I know he's got a bunch of cards in hand, so he's going to be able to fight me off. I mean, even just 1 Sensu Bean could probably, stop my attack short. So here comes a Vegeta to fight me off. That gives me a little bit of, I'm thinking, okay, maybe he doesn't have a bean. So now I'm going to go ahead and swing with Goldo, still trying to put as much pressure and get cards out of his hand before it's time for the showstoppers to try and come in and put some pressure. So Goldo is going to go ahead and swing, and now he's down to 2 lives. So now I'm thinking, okay, let's see what happens here. I still have one active energy, which I'm not going to be able to use on the next turn. And I'm at 6 lives and a little bit of extra knowledge, just for me running that deck. I'm pretty sure that he's not going to be able to take me from 6 down to 0 in one turn. So I'm going to go ahead and get a little risky here. I'm going to go ahead and combo, and put pressure, because what I'm trying to do is either get this attack to go through and bring out another card, finishing the game here with a double strike. But I want to try and get as many cards out of his hand if he is able to fight me off. So he's going to super combo. I'm going to choose to ditch my super combo. He's not live right now. Put him to the bottom of the deck. And then he's going to tap one energy to combo another 10k. And then I believe he has to tap one more energy to combo in another 10k and fight me off, giving himself 30. And there's that bean. If he would have used that bean, very, first thing, possibly, maybe he drew it actually out of his life. But maybe if he would have gone bean from the get-go, then I wouldn't have even gotten those attacks in, and everything would have just been left standing. So now there's nothing left for me to do. I'm not going to free play out this Backbone of the Force to take that card over there. I don't have the Body Snatcher to finish off the whole play. So it's time for me to go on ahead and pass turn over to my opponent. So, this battle is just, it was a great, great battle. It was a lot of fun. It was just a fun fight, and all these fights so far have just been a lot of fun. Unfortunately, I had to go against my little bro in the last round. We were both hoping that we would make it all the way to the finals and play against each other, but that didn't quite work out. So hopefully next year, there's always next year. Hopefully next year we'll be back in this tournament, and things will kind of shape up that way. We're hoping to have Big Titus join us, and Anthony from In-Game Cards and Anime in Ventura, which is my local card shop. We're hoping to kind of bolster up the Ludy Bros army and bring in a couple of more competitors next year if we're invited back. So as you can see here, he swung at my showstoppers again. I went ahead and comboed because I know that his focus is on my showstoppers, not on my leader. And I have a feeling he's going to try and swing at the showstoppers again. So I just want to drag out as many attacks and possibly get some resources out of his hand. So now he's going to use that attack at my showstoppers. It's going to go to the drop area. I have nothing. I have nothing in hand. I only have 2 energy. I've got a couple cards on the field. One of those cards is Goldo, so he can kind of position my deck for my leader swings the way they need to be. But we're seeing some energy tapped for an evolve. Now here comes this Android 16. I think it's Imperfect Assassin, and he's going to rip some cards from my hand, but I have none. So he's going to come out, and he's going to start trying to put a little bit of pressure. Another Android 16 new start being played out by just ditching the multicolored energy. So, it's just really good. The Android 21 deck is a very fun deck to pilot. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. When it goes off, it's really good. You can get you a couple blockers out there. The Android 16 plays are good. And you'll see possibly a little bit later on, if we can get that Android 21 play to go off, it can be a very problematic situation to have to face down. So now he went ahead and he swings at Goldo, getting him off the field. He knows that he's well aware of the effects of my cards, so he knows that the Goldo could set me up on my next turn and try to get me out of a bad spot. And there's the Body Snatcher, a turn late. I don't have my Backbone of the Force anymore. Body Snatcher comes out, and now I've got to figure out. I've got a dilemma here. Am I going to charge this card, or am I going to hold on to it in hand? I know that he's running the super combo that could make me ditch. So this is a tough little decision to have to try and mull through. Having Body Snatcher in hand, you need Backbone of the Force, and you need some Ginyu Force members on the field in order to get him off. But I decide to go ahead and skip the charge. I'm going to swing with Jace, which is going to give me the information that I need from the top of the deck to then swing with my leader after that. So I peep the top 3, and there's Goldo sitting just where he needs to be, ready to come out onto the field and help me out by organizing the cards and making sure that they're arranged. Now, when you swing with the leader, you play out the top card, and then you're going to draw the second card. So the way that that's right, I'm swinging with Jace, so I'm going to go ahead and add Goldo into my hand, and then or I can choose up to one Ginyu Force and add it to my hand. I decide not to add anything into my hand, so then that way my leader will be live. But I did switch the Unison and the Super Combo. I don't need that Super Combo just yet. I'm at 6 lives. So I'm swinging with 15. Now there's a nice bean right and early, so that way he can go ahead and not going to take any damage from any of the rest of these attacks. But my leader's going to go ahead and swing at that Android 16. I don't want that blocker staying on board. When the leader swings, you check the top card of your deck. I'm going to be able to play out Goldo, giving me another body, and then I'm going to draw one, which is going to be the Demigra. So let's see here. Goldo getting ready to be played out. And then once Goldo's played out and Demigra is drawn, then I'm going to be able to use Goldo's effect to search the top 5 cards of the deck and arrange them in the order that I see fit, with some cards either being placed on the top or the bottom of my deck. So it's just so much flexibility. Even with minimal energy, I'm still able to get a body on board. I'm, getting some cards into my hand, and I'm setting myself up, if I can survive, setting myself up for the next turn. So that's the solid aspect, the consistency that Ginyu can bring to the table, from the opening get. Okay, so let's see. I swung with at his Android 16. Now I believe the Android 16 has revived, so he ditched this Dr. Euro, which I didn't run this in my build, so I was surprised to see it. The cybernetic Dr. Euro comes out, and he's able to bring back that Android 16. So that was a nice move on his part to then fill up the board and get me back. So I tapped 1 energy to play out my Unison, and I'm going to go ahead and plus him up with a marker. Now, if he swings at the Unison, I'm just going to take those hits from off of the damage from my Unison's effect, which is the permanent, where if this card would lose a marker, then you can go ahead and you'll just take life instead. I swung with my Demigra, but he was up at 20. I forgot about that, so I just said, okay, never mind. Like, I'm not going to combo anything up. And then it's time to use Goldo's effect to try and set myself up for the next turn if I can make it there. So now that I have the Unison on board, I'm going to need that Frieza card to come to my hand. So we're going to go ahead and put that in the front. And then I'm going to likely be swinging with my leader next, and there's a birder which could come out onto the field, so we're going to set him up next to be the next card after that initial draw. We still haven't dropped down to 4 lives, so it's kind of iffy about the Gohan. The Gohan's effect doesn't activate until you're down to 2 lives, so he's even of less importance right now with me being at 6 lives. So those 2 super combos are going to be the cards that I'm looking for as opposed to the Gohan. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and pass turn back over to Android 21. Everything is going to restand. And now it's time to see if I can defend. He's got a very good situation here. Nice 5 cards in hand, charging another multicolored card. And he's got a nice board here with plenty of blocking and attacking power. He's swinging at Jace because Jace lets me search and add a card to my hand. So he doesn't want me adding any resources. I'm not going to combo anything. Jace is just going to have to go. He's put his work in. He helped me get a card to my hand earlier, or at least arrange the cards in the order that I liked. So he's going to have to go. Now here comes 2 energy being tapped for Vegeta. And this is an extra engine in the deck, which is going to let him, I believe, he draws a card if an energy is restanded or restood during the opponent's turn. And then here comes another Android 16, a new start. So he ditches a multicolored card. The leader's effect is going to go off, putting a multicolored card back into the energy, and then restanding that energy during my turn, which is then going to trigger that Vegeta, which is going to allow him to also draw a card. So he's building his board. But he's taking a lot of resources out of his hand. He's down to 3 now. But he's built a nice, strong board. He's up to 4 energy, which means on his next turn that Android 21 could potentially be played out from the drop area if he wants to. And it's time to get to work. He's going to go ahead and swing. I believe he swung at my Unison, but I went ahead and just take from the leader. And it's just going to be, either way, it was just going to be like that. I was just going to absorb up all those lives no matter what to keep my Unison on board. So here's the Frieza. Now Frieza's live. I've got the Unison out there. Everything's going to restand for me. And I know that I've got my card set up thanks to that Goldo last turn. So just going to go ahead. I'm going to charge up some energy this time. I'm playing with a small hand size and, only 2 energy to his 4. So I'm going to go ahead and charge myself this time. Ginyu doesn't need too much energy, but you do need some. So now I'm going to go ahead and swing with my leader. Time to check that top card. We all know what it is. We were aware with that Goldo, so we know we're going to be getting another free play here. And here comes Birder. And then the draw after that. So just knowledge is power. Ginyu letting you see what's going to be coming. So there's the draw. And now I'm swinging with 15, 15 at the leader. And he's down to 2 lives with 4 cards in hand. Plenty of field presence. Plenty of field presence here. So let's see here. He goes ahead and he takes that hit. Now he's down to 1 life. I'm going to go ahead and plus up my Unison. I want to keep the pressure going. So the Unison is going to go ahead and swing with 15k. And swinging at the leader, trying to just keep the pressure going. There's a bean, and we know that that's one of the, hey, that's one card that can really stop this deck for a turn is Sensu Bean, because then you're just going to go on ahead. You're going to be at 20k, and I don't have the hand size right now to combo up. But I do still have targets that I can swing at on his side of the field. So I'm going to swing with Birder, swinging into that Android 16. He's only got 4 cards in hand as well. So he's not going to use anything to protect that Android. So I'm able to get him off the field. And then I'm also going to swing, I believe, I swing with Raccoon. Oh, that's right. What are we playing out here? We're going to go ahead and play out... attempting to play out another Android, a new start off of his revive skill. So he ditched a card to play that out, and then I hit with the Frieza. So now Frieza is going to go ahead and be able to take care of one of his problematic cards. So he's got 2 blockers on board. He also has that Android 16, which is a 20k. But I feel like, I'm starting to smell a little... blood in the water, so I'm thinking that it might be time to go ahead and get rid of these blockers, so potentially I could have a turn where I can finally get through, his defenses. So still debating here. I'm kind of leaning towards a blocker to get rid of it, so that way I can go on ahead and try to get through. So the Dr. Euro is going to get popped, and then Raccoon is going to go ahead and swing into the Android 16 a new start. So trying to keep some pressure going. I've got a Frieza out there on board. No Zamasu, so I'm not able to tap the 1 energy to get him on board. But we know that the bean is there. I'm going to use Goldo's effect to search the top 5 and arrange them in the order that I see fit. I've got him down pretty low, so I know here we're going to see a Ginyu Force go to that 2nd slot. So that way he can be played out off the leader swing. I want that Furthering Destruction Champa to come to my hand, so then that way I can get a 10k boost. I'm sitting at 7 lives right now, so I'm feeling pretty good here. He's got 3 cards in hand, but he does have a lot on the board to go ahead and swing away at me with. And I don't have, I've got 1 super combo in hand, but that's not going to come live for another, 3 lives from now. I'm also a little bit wary because he's got that super combo in his, possibly in his hand where he's going to be able to snatch cards from mine, and I only have 2 cards left. So this is getting pretty close for me. Even though I'm at 7 lives and he's at 1, I still want to say, slight advantage going to my opponent. So I'm going to go ahead, swing away with the Goldo. I'm going to combo up, trying to get something from out of his hand. And let's see, I'm swinging into the, looks like I swung into his 20k and he's off the field. All right, so now my opponent, I'm going to pass turn over. He didn't combo up to save that card. And here we go. He's going to go ahead and draw for turn. So 4 cards in hand, 4 active energy. There's another blue-green multicolor that comes in active mode. There's another check land. So now he's going to be able to, with 5 energy here, he's going to go ahead and swing into my Goldo. My blocker should have been, my Birder should have been standing. He actually reminded me on that. Sometimes with untap, it's just, for me, I don't play untap, so it's like you just kind of forget some of the card's effects sometimes. So luckily, thank you, for pointing that out to me. I thanked him during the match. Just a great guy. He's a great guy, and I'm really looking forward to collaborating with him. He's swinging into my Goldo. I've got the cards arranged in order that I see fit, so I'm not sure that I need Goldo anymore right now. So I go ahead and let him go. I'm going to save my blocker, or so I thought, that I was going to save my blocker to take any problematic attacks. Here comes the Android 21. Now, I played this deck, so I knew the Android 21 could come out and he could snatch a card from my life. But I forgot that I think she also KOs a card on the battlefield, so I don't even get a chance to use my blocker, or she sends it to the drop area. I don't think she KOs it; she just sends it to the drop. So not only did I lose a life, but I lost my blocker. I should have probably just used the blocker last turn, but then again, the Goldo would have been the target of that instead. So there was no way out of that for me. So here comes, I ended up dropping 2 birders in that, one from the field, one from my life. And then the card is going to, for the leader's effect is going to go off, putting that multicolored card back into the energy and rest mode. And then during my turn, you'll be able to restand an energy and draw a card. And then I believe you actually draw another card off of the Vegeta's effect. So it's going to be plussing 2. Swinging into Raccoon, I have no desire to preserve Raccoon, so he's going to go to the drop area. And now it's my turn. So I was expecting a little more pressure. But you know, it didn't come, so hey, that's okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and draw for turn. I'll restand my guys, and now it's like, okay, do I charge and play out the Body Snatcher? I'm looking at 5 cards in hand on the other turn, and there's a blocker on field. I know that if I swing with my leader, I'm going to be able to get the top card of my deck and play it, and then I'm going to draw another card. So it's just free resources coming from Ginyu. So I'm just debating and trying to think in my mind. We're down to 1 energy. He's got a blocker on field. I decide to go ahead and charge my super combo. I think that the energy is going to come up handy here. So I go ahead and I charge, and then I'm going to bring out my swing with my leader. There's the block. So that initial block is going to come in and stop the attack. Here comes my Ginyu, which when he's played, he's going to give 10k to my Unison. So I'm just going to swing with 15. I'm going to draw the card, which is going to give me a negate. So that's going to give me a little protection if I need to. And then I'm swinging with 15 at the blocker. The blocker should go, but I don't believe there's any revive skill this time to be used. So swinging with that 15k, and then we'll see what happens here. Yep, the blocker goes away, and no revive this time. Demigra is going to go ahead and plus up a Unison, so he's up to 15, and he also got a 10k boost from the Ginyu. So we're swinging with 25 now at the leader. There's the 1 energy being tapped for Dimension Magic. Negate up the attack, restand 2. I was thinking, okay, maybe I can sneak this one in with the Unison, but it didn't happen. Ginyu freezes Greatest Soldier. Now going to swing at the leader. Just going to keep up that pressure. I'm just going to keep swinging and swinging and swinging to try and get rid of as many cards as possible. I use the leader's effect, tapping 1 energy to boost up Ginyu by 10k. So now I'm swinging away with 25. I'm going to go ahead and throw in that double strike, trying to just get rid of as many cards as possible and try and finish this game. And now it's time to see if he can combo out. I've got the 15, the 10k from the leader, another 5k, and there we come. I thought I was going to be protected with that counter, but he went ahead and snatched it from my hand. And now he has to tap 1 energy, 2 energy being tapped to completely fight me off. But now we're down to 1 card in his hand and no cards in mine. But like I said, I believe that Ginyu is just when it comes down to a situation like that, Ginyu is a strong card that you're able to play out of situations like this. Plus, with me being at 6 life, I'm potentially going to be able to get some cards from my life, which, like I said before, after piloting Android 21 for a while, I was relatively confident that he wouldn't be able to do 6 damage to me in 1 turn. So he charges a multicolor in rest, but he still has the other Android 21 there in his energy area, which he can tap 4 and play it out. All right, so we're seeing 1 Android 21 swinging away at Ginyu. He's going to get him off the board. I have nothing. So now I have nothing on board, nothing in hand. I'm just out here basically naked. I've got 4 energy and a Unison, 6 life. Nothing else to protect myself with. So he wiped out that Ginyu force, and now it's time. I mean, he's got another Android 21 in his energy area. The thing that, kind of bothered me about the Android 21 is that she doesn't have any other effects. There's no critical, there's no double strike. So even though she comes out and snatches a life, when she swings, she's only doing that one damage. So that was one of the things when I used to pilot the deck that always I wish she had another skill. There you see it, drop the secret rare. So I was like, man, I wish I would have seen that earlier on in the game, or even right now. It'd be great to be able to play it out, but I dropped the secret rare from my life. I had nothing in hand to throw away, so it's just, I'm a free beat stick right now that you can just, punch. I'm a free punching bag right now. So Ryan was able to go ahead and just start swinging for the fences. I take the hit. He swings at my unison. I'm at 4 life. So I want to save those markers just in case if I want to try and KO a couple of cards during the next turn. So I go ahead and I take from my life. And then he swings again at the unison. And once again, I'm not going to take any markers off. I'm just going to go ahead and take. So now here's the Zamasu. So the Zamasu and the Secret Rare, I only run 1 copy of each in my deck. I build my decks here on Untap the same way I have them built in real life. I want to play this game. I don't have, if I'm missing a card, I'm not going to just add it in. I could have, sell Zenoed into this deck or something like that. I don't own it. But I do own that Supreme Kai. So I went ahead and I put that into my deck as my secret. He swung at me and I decided to combo out. I didn't have the Frieza in hand, so there was no way I was going to be able to get that really on board. So I just went ahead and comboed out because I didn't want to drop down any lower. I didn't know if somehow, some way he was going to be able to play another of the Android 21 and just steal that last life from me. I didn't want to have it stolen away. So I was like, you know what, let me just stay at 2 and, see what I can do on my turn now. So I went ahead and I draw for turn. I don't think I'm going to need any energy right now, but I know for a fact that I'm going to have to put the pressure. So I go ahead and I plus up my unison. He has 3 cards in hand with only 1 life left. So I'm not going to charge anything. So that's 2 turns in this battle that I didn't charge. I'm going to go ahead and play out my Ginyu, Frieza's Greatest Soldier, and I'm going to plus that 10k onto Demigra. So now Demigra is up to 25. With that last turn, he did plenty of damage to me, so now my super combo is going to be live. I'm going to swing with Demigra at the leader. No counters. I'm going to go ahead and super combo, send that card to the bottom of my deck. It has no combo power, so it's useless to me right now. And I'm going to go ahead and draw 2 cards. I've got to pump this attack up as high as I can get it. There's another Demigra popping up from out of nowhere, and here's a Gohan. This Gohan's actually good right now because I can go ahead and tap and get that 10k boost to try and, push this attack as high as I can. So 15, 25, 35, 45. I'm going to go up to 50 single strike, swinging away at Android 21, and that's the game. So there you have it, folks. We were able to get this battle in. It was great fun, Ryan. I hope to play you again. If you haven't had a chance to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, please do so. Help us out here at Ludy Bros Entertainment. We're trying to grow this channel and get as many people involved in this content as we can. And I will see you guys in the next video.